All right, the next thing we're going to do in this room is we're going to install some lighting, and as you can see, the only light in here is that ceiling fan, and it's not a good light at all. Here's what I got from the Home Depot. So it looks like a new product. It said it was new, and they're actually pretty cheap right now. I bet the price goes up. I probably need to go get a few more. And don't forget your wire. You're gonna need to get some wire. This is a 14. You can get a 12, but the 14 will probably be better. That's all you need for lighting. For outlets and things, you probably do need a 12, but for lights, you just need a 14. First thing we're going to do before cutting the holes and running these lights, we're going to check out the box. So this is your light switch, and we're going to see what we need. What we're going to have here is I got a 2-gang box. In other words, two switches. One's going to be for the fan, and one's going to be for the light. One's going to be for the fan. And this is just a switch I put up there for now. It's not the one I'm going to use. So I suggest, if you've never done this before, that you actually flip the circuit breaker in your breaker box to turn off the electricity at this box. And how you do it is you just have to find out which one controls the light. Just turn your light on and then start flipping them until it goes off. Let me take this switch off so we can see what we have. I'll show you what you need. Okay, first of all, this switch right now controls just the fan. All right. Now, so what we have is on a switch. A switch just has the black is the hot. The black is the hot. So a wire that goes to a switch, both of them are really hot. One of them's not hot all the time. So if I touch one of these wires, it's hot. The other one is hot now because it's on. If I were to turn it off, that's your real hot right there. That's the one that's always hot. And this is the one that when you switch it on, it becomes hot, and that makes the light hot and gives it power and turns it on. Okay, so we know the top one there is going to be your hot, and this is your switch leg. In other words, that's the one that goes to the light. We need to run a switch leg to the lights we're about to put in. So we need to run a wire down here to so we can flip the lights on. I was hoping that ceiling fan had a 3-wire in it, but it looks like it's just a 2-wire. So we'll have to run a whole nother line. All right, I think I've cut it off, but I want to be sure with the hot stick. So yeah, there's no power to this. I check all the wires. So let's take this apart. And okay, take this apart. I'm gonna take this switch off. Right now, I don't know which one is the line and the load, but this is probably it. Don't ever try to do this with the power on. Here's your neutral. This is your neutral, the white one. So black is your hot. So here's all your neutrals tied together. I gotta remember to turn it back off. Yeah, that's it. This is what I thought. That's the line. This is the load. So this continues on somewhere. Comes in through here, and then when you had them all tied together, it goes somewhere. You put this box off. There we go. Okay, so about to get up in the attic and run this line. I already drilled a hole in the top plate of that wall. This is when it comes in handy to have a helper. So I'm running this line down, and now I gotta grab it. I just happened to get lucky, and there it is right there. I'm gonna do all the wiring here before I put the lighting up because I want to be able to test the lighting before I actually mount it, before I finish it off. Just make sure when you cut this wire, you're gonna strip this wire, that you cut it right down the center. And I need a new blade. Always good to work with a fresh blade. Okay, you strip that off. You're gonna strip off the cover, and there's gonna be like this paper thing. Throw that all out. Okay. All right, you want to have plenty of wire. This is actually a little bit less than what I usually. Well, that's about right. About a handful like that you can grab. Because you're going to cut that off anyway, cut some of that off. Okay. The first thing I do is I tie all my grounds together and then deal with all the other stuff. And this is all going to be kind of tight. So tie your grounds together first. You usually don't need a wire nut for these most of the time. I'm not going to cut it yet. Just put them all together. Alright, next I want to tie all my neutrals together. And remember, the neutrals aren't going to go to the switch. The only thing that goes to the switch is a hot wire. My neutrals and tie them together. I need to strip this wire. You want to take off. This is why you want to have a lot of slack on this. You want to be able to take off as much as you can. Okay, so we're going to tie the white ones together now. White is your neutral. Alright, here we go. Usually the shortest ones I kind of twist them together. Those are the short ones. And then wrap the long ones around first until they kind of even out. You kind of want them even. You want them even right here. Okay, this is my longest one. This is the new one. And it's the thinnest one. All these other ones are 12s. This is the 14. So I'll wrap it around a few times to even it out. After you tie these together, what you do before you put the wire nut on them is you cut off the end. Okay. When you tie this wire nut on, the basic idea is all the twisting with the climbs, with the pliers, got them all where you need them to be. This thing should tie on, and you can't really tie it too tight. It's not. You want it on there real good. Okay, so that's in place. Now what I do is I push all this stuff back before I do the hot wire. Before I tie my hot wire, I kind of push all this stuff back to get it out of the way. This is where you can really mess things up. That's why you need a professional. Making sure that you don't cut this insulation on the wire or anything like that. Here is your line in, your line. This is your load. This is your light, and this is your fan. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do is tie this one, and 2 extra wires to come out. One for the fan and one for the light. Okay, so I need 2 pieces of wire for the light switch and the fan switch. So what I'm gonna do is just cut 2 pieces. I wanna use, you always wanna use black. What I'm gonna do is tie your line in, your load, and your 2 wires that are gonna go provide, what they're gonna do is they're gonna provide the hot wire for the light. Okay. So we're gonna tie these together. See, now we're getting tight here. I want this down here. So now I have my 4 wires. Tie these together. I still got battery left on the camera. Good. Okay. This is my hot. Now I gotta find that wire nut that I dropped. Okay. Because nobody's here to get a drywall lesson. I know I'm the last person that teach anybody how to do drywall. This is where you can mess things up. You start messing with this. These are my hots. What you want to do is probably strip like, I don't know, maybe it's 1 inch. About that much. I don't know if you can see it from there. Maybe I should get closer. About 1 inch, I guess. I'll get it. Let me see. Okay. So you want to, here's what you do. It's a little trick. On this little wire stripper, see those holes right there? That's where you can bend the wire like that. So you have like a little hook. These are my hots. I want to tie the switches. There's a, when it's off is on the top and on is on the bottom here. That's when it's upright. Okay, it doesn't really matter which one you tie it to, but most of the time what we do is we put the hot on the bottom, and we put the thing, the device, whatever you have, it goes on the top, like the light. This goes to my light, or this goes to my fan. I want to put that on the bottom. So we want the one that's always hot to go on the bottom. It honestly doesn't matter which one it is. I'm going to be honest with you, but a lot of electricians recommend that you, just so we always do things the same way every time. I tighten it with the, first with the drill, and then I come back and I use a screwdriver to make sure it's on there real tight. And And I didn't show you this, but on this, whenever you do this, okay, that's my light. When you do this and you put this hook in here, okay, what I do is, I can do it without this, but what you want to do is you want to tighten it around the screw. You probably can't see this, but you just want to make sure it's on there real good. Now, I remember this one goes to my light, this one goes to my fan. So I want to put my fan on the right side and my light on the left. You can do it however you want. Sure you don't want to rip a hole in this the insulated wire here. That's why you don't want to have too much slack. You want some slack on here, but you don't want like a foot or anything like that. Thing is, you don't want to tighten this all the way down yet. You just kind of want to get these screws on. Don't tighten them all yet. Okay, reason why I told you not to tighten them too tight is because when you put this plate on, you may have to move them around so that it'll fit on there. So you may need your drill again. I have it here in case I need it. All right, let's put the plate on and see if it fits, and most of the time it doesn't. You see how you have to adjust a little bit, move them, straighten them out, or whatever you need to do. And if you had tightened them down, it's just going to be more work to do that. All the switches, it doesn't matter that much. Also, if you can see how they're level right here, or somewhat level, if they're not, if it's pushed too far in, you may have to untighten them to bring it out. Okay, if they're sticking like too far out, you'll have to tighten the switches on there to even them out. With the switch, you do not want to tie these, you do not want to screw these down too tight because you will break the plate. And I always make it to where the slot is straight up and down. You don't have to do that, but that's how I was taught. See how the slot is straight up and down? Kind of just makes it look nicer. And there. I need to fix that. So I'm going to take this plate off and redo that, but just to show you how to put on the plate. Generally, if the plate looks like it's level, then that's good enough. But if you want to check and you have a torpedo level, see, this one looks level, and it is. So that's what we use. So if it looks level, that's good enough. But many times I'll walk into a room and I'll look at the plugs, or and I'll see that it just doesn't look level, and you can tell right away when it's way off. And the reason why we want to do all this work and do the light switch, wire the light switch and everything before we start working on the lights, is that now, since there was a line in the load power in here, now we can turn the circuit breaker back on, and when I want to work on the lights in here, I can just turn off the power here so that I won't get shocked working on the lights. So that's one reason why you want to do all this before you install the lights. Now I can flip the breaker on and work on the lights just by flipping the power off here.